a thatched cottage in 2000, and we'd spent 4 years renovating it, and all our electricity cut off one night. My wife was 2 days late with our first daughter, pregnant, and I went upstairs to investigate why the electricity had gone off, and found the whole of my first floor filled up with smoke, and realised the roof was alight. Basically, I went downstairs to get my wife and my dog, and there was only things on the side with pregnancy notes and the keys, and then we called 999 fire brigade, and we just basically got out of the house and went to next door and waited for the fire brigade.
When crews attend thatches in the rural area, it can be a very work-intensive job in the very early stages because there is so much to get done.
First of all, try and ascertain whether it started internally of the property or externally. If it started internally of the property, we'll try and, if we can, attack it like we would a normal house fire by getting crews into the property, get into the loft space and try and deal with it before it causes too much damage to the thatch. If it started externally, we'll then try and do more of a sort of two-pronged attack, really get crews onto the roof to strip the thatch off whilst crews are internally trying to stop fire damage internally and start salvaging some of the furniture and personal possessions out of the property.
We try to mitigate the amount of water used, but it is quite intensive water-wise to try and prevent the spread to the rest of the roof and potentially adjacent premises as well.
We have usually a limited access. The loft space is usually only one hatch in an older house, and we may be forced to actually make access points of our own in order to rescue the rest of the house.
Whereas a domestic fire, we'd probably send 2 to 4 fire engines. It could be anything from 8 to 10, possibly up to 20 fire engines we have to send because of the amount of workload to strip the thatch off the roof, to extinguish the fire. We also get, again, because of the neighbouring properties, difficult access. It can affect a whole village and a whole sort of area, the knock-on effect of all the appliances trying to park in small locations.
I think my advice to thatch owners, really simply, is look at the simple rules that set out by the fire brigade of looking at your wood burner, making sure your chimney's lined correctly, making sure you've got smoke alarms, carbon monoxide alarms, and basically getting this simple information through to your local brigade. So if in the event you do have a thatch fire, they've got that information to hand when they're dealing with it. I mean, my property, I called them out, and I don't even think initially with the shock we mentioned it was a thatch fire. So X amount of pumps turned up, and then they realised it was a thatch fire, and then, you know, we had another 15 pumps turn up.
Well, it's important when people dial 999, especially if they live in a rural area, that they give us precise locations, try to give us a landmark nearby, because the fire service may not always know where every house on their station ground is.
If their property is not easily visible from the road, sending a member of the family or themselves down to the end of the drive to meet us to give us access details when we arrive. Now, obviously telling the control operator that the property has got a thatch roof, because that makes a big difference to the appliances that we send to the incident.
It's important at incidents such as thatches that people give us, first of all, the information about anyone who may be left in the property still. It's important that we get information about what's most valuable to them in the way of their possessions, so that we can salvage them.
Access details, so if we have got to go down a narrow lane, we can request smaller appliances to attend. If they know where the fire started, how long it's roughly been burning, information like that. Where their services are and how we can isolate those. If they know of any local water supplies, when they know of a neighbour that's got a swimming pool, or there's a stream or a pond nearby that we can use as a water supply.
Thatch owners can actually help to preserve their property and reduce the risk of the fire in their thatch by having their chimneys regularly swept, by using seasoned firewood that is not full of tar, that they have a clean spark arrestor on the top.
To reduce the risks of fire in their home, they can request a home fire safety visit from us, so we can go along and assist them with looking at some of the risks they might not see themselves. Ensure they've got working smoke detectors in the property, which we recommend to every house owner. In addition to the normal domestic smoke detectors, we recommend putting one in the loft space, and if necessary and if possible, try and wire it to one on the first floor landing so they can hear it. Ensuring that if they have any work done to a flue or a chimney, that the people are pretty certificated and licensed to work on those sort of appliances.
I think the most important thing is listen to the fire brigade, get the information from the local authorities or the National Association of Master Thatchers, and use your common sense.